Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Master Bostic coming at you. Harley CTLA tutorial for these for Illustrator. We're going to be working on the Zen pen exercises 6 and 7. Zen pen is all about the pen tool, and the pen tool is a very powerful tool in Illustrator. And once you understand how to control it, it gives you the freedom to do whatever you can imagine. So, a couple of things you got to remember. Here on the screen you'll see your pen tool thought process, the steps that you need to think about as you're going through using the pen tool, making your custom shapes, and just some remembering tips. The thought process: first thing you look at, where does my anchor point go? All right, where is my anchor point going to go? And remember, think about ovals. Secondly, is the line coming into the anchor point that's going into the anchor point that you're about to make, is it straight or curved? If it's straight, you're going to click and release. If it's curved, you're going to click and drag. So if it's curved, what direction are you going to drag? That's what you have to remember. You drag the direction you want your line to go is my staple. Step 3 is the line coming out of the anchor point. Is it straight or curved? If it's straight, you're not going to make a handle, so you're going to click and release and just leave it there. Or get rid of the handle. If you had to click and drag the first time, you click on that anchor point after the handle's already been created to eliminate or get rid of that handle. If it's curved, then you figure out what direction you're going to drag. Alright? A couple of things to remember. When using your pen tool, 9 times out of 10, your shape will not be correct the first time through. So the first time you make your shape, it's not going to be 100% perfect. You're going to need to go back in using your direct selection tool to fix it. Alright. Secondly, pay attention to your cursor. It's going to tell you what's going on or what's going to happen with your line. Alright. Your cursor is going to change and show you what's going on. Tip 3, your line always follows the following order. Remember, it always starts at an anchor point. Secondly, it's going to look for, and if it finds it, try to go to the tip of the first handle. Step 3 is going to look for, and if it finds it, try to go to the tip of the second handle. Then lastly, it must end at your anchor point. So that is always the order that a line is technically thinking, if you want to think of it that way. Lastly, tip 4, when editing a line, move the handle the direction you want the line to go. Alright, always remember those things. So these are here for you guys. If you need them again, rewind the video and take a look at them, so they're there for you. Alright, the first thing we're looking at is Zen pen 6. Alright, we already did the cloud. The cloud was actually pretty simple. Make sure you set your fill color to none. Remember that we're placing our anchor points. You're dragging the direction you want it to go. Remember, you want that handle to follow and be on the red dotted lines. And actually, that's a little off. Drag it the direction. I don't want to drag it this way. If I was drawing this with a pencil and my pencil was here and I was going around this way, my pencil would leave this point and have to come up to follow this line. So you need to drag your handle on that point. You get to your next point. Where does my line change direction? If this was an oval, my oval stops following this red line right here because it would come back around. This is my next point. So click, hold, drag the direction you want it to go. When your line leaves this point, you want it to continue around here. So drag that direction. Backside is not where it needs to be. You can fix that on the fly. Hold down your Option key and look at my cursor. Notice it changes to the Convert Anchor Point tool. As long as I'm holding that, I can now change the direction of my handle without modifying the other one. Now, when I'm done, I don't really want to come back here and work on that. I can continue going spacebar. I can drag my screen around, and then I'm just going there here. Option, change the direction of my handle. Drag the direction I want to go. Option, change the direction of my handle. Alright, notice these lines aren't perfect, but I don't care. I'm fine with it right now. I'm going to go around, finish my shape first, then come back and make it and correct it. Alright. So there that is. All right. Now remember, you could do this in different ways, like you see right there. Normally I would have drug the direction I wanted my line to go, but this time I drug backwards. I drug it to try to make this look the way I want it to look. And now I would just do that same thing, hold my Option key, and now make that first part the direction I want it to go. It's either way, whichever way works best for you. You have to figure out the method that works best for your brain, the way you think. All right, so I could continue going around here doing it, making my shape look correct first, or I could drag the direction I want it to go and then come back and fix the back side. So it's really up to you. All right. So I'm just going to finish this up. I told you guys this would be for the top part, but I figured in case some of you were having issues with the cloud still, that I would give you an example of the cloud. Okay. Now this last point, you got to close it. Notice there's a circle next to my cursor. All right, when I put it on that point, when I drag here, it's going to mess up the other side. Who cares? Okay. I know that all I got to do is hold my Option key and I can drag that back to where I want it to be. All right. My shape is done. All right. Now it's not correct yet, but it's done. Now I'm just going to use my direct selection tool. I can click on my handles and I can come in here and I can modify those handles. Now the cool thing to remember is that this handle basically controls half of this line. If I cut this line in half, I kind of think of it along the lines of this handle controls this part. This handle controls this part. So right now, let's say we're like this. My line needs to go this way. Okay? This direction. So I need to take my handle in this direction. I can't change the angle of it because I can't, since it's already pointing that direction, changing the angle doesn't do anything. If I'm taking my line this way, my handle also needs to go this way. So I just grab the handle and make it longer. All right. And while I'm doing this, I'm looking at this blue line saying, okay, where is it going? Where do I want it? All right. And then you just do minor tweaks. Right now, the line is still below. The way I think of it is below. It needs to go this way. So I make this go that way. All right. Boom. So that same thing goes with every piece. This line needs to go this way. So my handle needs to go this way. All right, by getting this side right. Now this side is wrong. The line needs to go this way. So take my handle that direction. All right, and you start seeing what you need. All right, and you just start tweaking it. So I'm not going to sit here and go through every single one of these. You guys play with it, get some practice, and really that's what it takes, guys. You just got to practice with it. Remember, I've been using this for multiple years. And you just get used to it. And don't think that just because you move it and it messes up the other side, you got to get past that, folks. Okay? Don't be lazy. If you're going to make it right, take the time and make it right. Okay? There are people out there that get paid a lot of good money for taking those extra 2 or 3 clicks and making their design the way it's supposed to be. Alright, well, I said I wasn't going to go through and fix all of this, but looks like I am as I'm sitting here talking. Alright, so boom, there it is. Got your cloud. Not easy. Alright, the thing you got to remember, if the line is connected, it needs to be one solid shape. So the NO are connected, the T is not, so I'm not going to worry about the T right now. Go ahead and zoom into this NO. All right. Now, this is where you're going to follow that process. Step 1. Where does my anchor point go? All right. Remember, you're doing this like if you were writing this with a pencil. If I was starting this NO, I would start from the beginning of the end. So that's where my line is going to start. So, part 1. Number 2, is the line coming into the anchor point straight or curved? There's no line coming into this anchor point. So don't worry about it. You can skip that one. Is the line coming out of the anchor point straight or curved? From this point, the line coming out is curved. Okay, so that means I gotta click and drag. If curved, what direction am I going to drag? You want to drag the direction your line goes. If I put my pencil here and I was drawing this, the first direction my line goes is this way. So I'm going to click and hold and I'm going to drag that way. Notice that my handle is on the red line. All right. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to, let's see. I am going to separate these just so you all can see it as I work. Thinking that might help. Okay. So there we go. All right. So we have our tips there. So click and hold and drag the direction I want it to go. All right. Once I've done that, you go back to the beginning. It's these 3 steps over and over and over again. Step 2, where does my anchor point go? Think about ovals. If I was making an oval, my oval would be right about here. This does not make an oval. That's more of a rectangle kind of shape. So think about an oval. All right, and it's just going to give you a rough estimate of where your next anchor point goes. So if I was making an oval, my line comes off of the oval somewhere right about here. So that's step 1. Step 2 is the line coming into the anchor point straight or curved. The line coming in is curved, so I'm going to click and drag. 2A, if curved, what direction am I going to drag? I'm going to drag the direction my line is going. So click and hold and drag. All right, there it is. Step 3 is the line coming out of the anchor point straight or curved. So from this point out, is it straight or curved? This line's pretty straight, so that's fine. Here you have one of 2 choices. You could put an anchor point here and then here, or you could put one straight down here. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and place an anchor point there, and then I'll place my anchor point here. All right, well, go by the steps. So I place this anchor point here. Now, where does my next anchor point go? Right here, where the line changes shape. If it's a straight line, you can't think about an oval, obviously. So follow it down, and then where would my line change direction if I was using a pencil? If I was coming through here, I'd have to stop and then come back up. So this is where my line changes direction. This is where it goes. The line coming into it is straight, so I'm going to click and release. Boom, there it is. The line coming out, all right, is curved. So that means I need a handle coming from this anchor point. I don't have one yet, so I need to make one. Go back to your last anchor point, click and hold, and drag it. Now, I know this handle is probably going to go somewhere up like this, but that puts it really close, and I can't see it too well, so I'm just going to put it down here for now. Doesn't matter, because I can always come back and fix it. All right, so got it there. The question is now, where does my next anchor point go? If I'm thinking about an oval, this is all part of an oval. My oval would come up like this, come down, and back around. This is my oval. So where does it leave this shape? Somewhere around in here. So pretty much anywhere along this line, you could get away with putting an anchor point. All right. The line coming into the anchor point is curved. Therefore, I'm going to click and drag. Click. Now, what direction am I going to drag? The direction I want my line to go. Drag it down. Now, I don't have to drag this all the way down and make it right. I don't care. I can come back and fix it. Okay. Spacebar, move it up. So, the line coming out of this point is curved. Therefore, my next thing is going to be a click and drag. Where does it go? Think about an oval. Where does my line change directions? Okay, so follow my line, and where does it do a sharp change? Right here. Its path would go in here if it was going to be smooth, but it changes to there. So this is my next point. The line coming in is curved. I'm going to click and drag. What direction do I want to drag? I could either drag the direction my line is going, or I could drag to try to make the back look correct. Remember, the areas under the remember side over here are tips. They're not rules. They can be broken. So right here, I drug to make this backside look kind of correct, so I need to change the direction of this. Hold my Option key, change its direction. Alright, now with a circle in Illustrator, when Illustrator makes a circle or an ellipse, it automatically gives it 4 anchor points. One at the top, one at the bottom, one at the left, and one at the right. So you can kind of, if you think of this, this is just a squished circle. Squished and rotated. So it's like that, and then it's been done like that. And you roughly have the same shape. Wow, it's really, really rotated. Okay, so, if you extended that out, you would end up with something very similar to the same shape. Alright, you get the idea. So, let me pick back up my shape, and this is important. If you break your shape, you come up here and you're like, okay, I'm going to make my next point, and it's not connecting, remember, do not hit delete. Command Z, hold Command and Z. Anytime you mess up, Command Z. To pick my shape back up, I need to go to my last anchor point. Look at my cursor. Right now it has a little asterisk by it. I think on CS5 that you guys are using, I'm using CS6. CS5, it has a X, I think, next to it. But when you put your cursor on that last anchor point, it's going to turn into a slash. That means you're picking up your shape. I'm going to click and hold and drag that handle so I get that handle back. So I could say it's one top, bottom, left, right. So I could say, okay, here's my top, since it was just squished and rotated. Drag the direction I want it to go. My right, click and hold, drag the direction I want it to go. And I'm clicking and holding and dragging because the line coming in is curved. I'm dragging the direction I want it to go. Bottom, click, drag. And over here, I can just end it up, just click. Alright, this is fine. This is perfectly fine for where you want to be the first time through. Now I gotta fix it. Direct selection tool. Click, grab my handles and start forming my handles and making them do whatever I need them to do. You're gonna move those handles however they need to be moved to make it work for what you need. Okay? That's all you're doing is tweaking it. Alright? So you could sit here and you could tweak it out and make it perfect if you wanted to. All it takes is a little bit of time and effort. Alright? And you can make anything you need do exactly what you need it to do. Okay? So, I'm not going to take the time. You guys can sit there and tweak it and do what you need to do with it. But Mr. Bostic's just wanted to give you the idea so you get it. That's not too bad. Alright, we could tweak it some more, but if you gave me this, I see, hey, you've given me effort. You've tried to make it correct. If you give me this, I'm not giving you full credit. Sorry. You need to show me that you're going to at least attempt to come in here and try to make it right. Alright, I see a little bit of red, big deal. Alright, and you're going to follow the same process through every single shape you got. Alright, I'll skip over here to like the E. First thing, where does my anchor point go? Where would I start my E? Right here. Line coming out, is it curved? Yes. Click and hold, drag the direction you want it to go. Where does my line change direction? Okay, if this is an oval, it pretty much is the oval. So I might be coming maybe over here. Now I could put one here, and you'll learn that with time. You could remember these are just tips, they're not rules. That looks pretty darn good. However, I could do this almost the same thing by coming here and then putting my next anchor point here. Now it's going to take a lot more work, but I could come in and make this come out pretty much the same. Okay, there it is. Same thing. But you have to remember, the less anchor points you use, the smoother your line is going to be. Alright, my oval, I could come here and just finish this out. Now this would take a little bit of tweaking because you have less anchor points to work with. So you would need to modify it and get it to play. Look at that. Not too bad. That only took me a minute or so, and it just takes some playing with it. Now, for stuff like the A here, you're going to actually overlap. So, okay, this line coming in here is pretty straight. What is this one? All right. Let's see. I didn't finish my line. To finish your shape, go back to your pen tool, click. All right. So this one, I might click there. My line coming out is pretty straight. I could do the curve because it does curve a little bit. It's really up to you. All right. Give a little bit there. This is a circle. 4 sides, guys. So come here. I could say this is my right. I could say this is my bottom. This is my left. This is my top. Alright. Then it comes back through. Just don't re-click. Notice if I click here, it says minus. That means it's going to delete my anchor point. Undo. So don't click on the line. Click off of it. And make your shape. Alright. My next oval comes around this way. Oopsie. Double click. Sorry. Command Z. Come here and make the other part of my piece here. I can option, grab a handle, and modify it. Alright. Whatever you need to do. Come here. This does kind of change directions here. So I could come here and drag that. Notice this one is way too long. Grab your handle and pull it back. Alright. Make it do what you want it to do. Alright, this comes up and around. I could come here and put one there. I could ends the direction there. Boom. Spacebar. You got an oval. Think of circles. So it would probably come off probably about here because it would have to come back around. So I could come here and make my other line here. This one's just too short. This line needs to come this way. So bring that anchor point in the handle this way. Alright, this handle, bring it up. There you go. My line is thing about ovals. I could probably put one here. Alright, and get away with it. And then I could probably put one here if I wanted, and then finish it out. Okay, then you're coming back with your direct selection tool and fixing it. Okay, this really isn't hard, folks. All you got to do is take some time and make it work. Alright, and then if you need to, you can move your anchor points. Remember, the direct selection tool allows you to move your anchor points. If you got an anchor point that you're like, well, that's not really working the way I want it to work, move the anchor point. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You do what you got to do to make it work. Now, you come over here, you see you got some stuff, just fix it. Click on your anchor points and modify what you got going on. Alright? Remember, Mr. Bostic is not looking for perfection. I would like for you to strive for perfection. But this might help you. Sometimes notice it's snapping to certain areas. You can turn your snaps off. If you go to the view menu, go down to where is it? Smart guides. Sometimes it's smart guides. If there's a check mark there, uncheck smart guides, because sometimes that's what's grabbing is your smart guides. All right, and this will allow you to manipulate your stuff. All right. So as you can see, it really isn't that hard. You just got to take some time, go in, and make it work. This is fine, folks. I'll accept that. Alright? What I'm looking for is that you're giving me effort, that you're not coming through here saying click, 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 and just clicking around it. Notice I made this part with using, how many anchor points I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that an anchor point? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. You should not need more than 14 points to make this A and this S. Alright? So, already in just this video, I've shown you how to do the N, the O, the E, the A, the S. The only thing you would have left to figure out yourself is the T and the Y. Let's do it. Alright? Have a good night. Peace.